I'm going to show you guys two different ways that I easily track the amount of stock that my competition has when I consider selling an item or how many of that item to buy. First things first, I'm Jonathan. This is Duke Does Amazon, my Amazon selling channel, and I'm sharing everything I've learned, continue to learn, documenting. Selling on Amazon has literally changed my life, and I'm not exaggerating. So with that said, let's hop onto my computer and I'll show you those two methods. All right, so in front of me here, I have Inventory Lab pulled up, a random paint product. And before we go into Keepa to show you the first way I track the amount of stock of competition, I need to kind of clarify something. Here in this green column, this is all the other FBA sellers and what they're currently selling or listing their product for, okay? So the current buy box is $20.75, and that's what that box indicates, the buy box. There's another seller at $20.75, there's one at $20.28, and one at $29.69. I won't get too much into it, but just know I only consider the first three sellers to be what I would say competitive sellers are. I just made a video on that, which I'll link here. But just know that I am basically in my head understanding that those are the only three sellers that I'm concerned about. The fourth FBA seller is priced too high to win the buy box. And everybody in the peach column are FBM sellers who I don't consider competitive sellers as a general rule of thumb. So now that we have that out of the way, what we'll do is go straight into Keepa with this product. And then up here, you can click on data. And then from here, you click on offers. And now what you're gonna see is really cool, okay? So here, if you look where my cursor is, you'll see the seller column and every seller that is currently selling the product here. And then to the left over here, you can line up which ones are FBA sellers because it has Prime next to it. So if anyone's not familiar, when you do fulfillment by Amazon, your items get listed as Prime. 99% of the time for most sellers, if you do FBM, it's not Prime, okay? So these happen to be the three competitive sellers I mentioned, all right? And now if we just look a little to the right, there's a column that says stock. So this seller has 15 of this item in stock. This seller has 4, and this seller has 12, okay? We're gonna come back to why that's important. I'm gonna first take you to the next way that you can check the amount of stock. So here I have the product pulled up in Amazon. Not Amazon Seller Central, just good old Amazon as if you were going to shop yourself. And I have a Chrome extension called Count Stock, okay? And what you do when you're on the page in Amazon, you can see my cursor up here, you simply click on that. And this is another way, and this is a free extension by the way, it shows you the quantities. So here I've already have it filtered to just be FBA sellers. You can click on all, you can click on FBM, FBA because those are who I consider to be competition, right? So one seller has 15, one has 2, 12, 1, and 1. There's a slight discrepancy perhaps with Keepa. I think that Count Stock also accommodates for people that have product in transfer and sending in, whereas I think Keepa is actual live time on Amazon. But that's really it. Those are the really two quick and effective ways to see the amount of stock that your competition has. Now I'm gonna dive into how you can use that to your advantage and why it's important. So using that paint as an example, as I mentioned, there's 3 other competitive sellers. You would be the 4th one if you jumped on that listing. So for round numbers, let's say that you read the Keepa chart or however you do it and you determine that this product sells 40 times per month, okay? And let's say you and the other 3 competitive sellers are all in a similar price point. So in theory, you would each get 10 sales a month. 40, the total amount of sales of the product in a month, divided by 4, the amount of competitive sellers, okay? So you would each get 10. And let's say that you decide, or your method is that I like to stock up on inventory 1 month in advance, which by the way is very generic but standard, right? So you can be at a store or shopping online and say, I have this product in front of me. I can buy 10 of these because that's how many sales I'm gonna get in a month. However, here is one reason why the amount of stock of your competition comes into play. All that math is good and it's fair to use that, but if your competition, all 3 of those other sellers, let's say they all had 1 or 2 or 3 items in stock, not enough to last them the amount of sales they should be getting in a month, I might stock up. Or if I get a really good deal or something that's really hard to come by, I might buy more than my 10 because I know that they're going to sell out really quickly. Now, to play devil's advocate, I want to say this too. You don't know when your competition is going to get an influx or re-up their inventory, or more sellers are going to potentially load into the marketplace, or the product itself might have been like a low supply item and all of a sudden 1 million units have hit the United States, right? There's a lot of variables out of your control, and that's why I always will still suggest, for beginners especially, do test buys, go wide and not deep, because there's some things just out of your control no matter how much research that you do. But with all of that said, at least you can see how you can determine how much stock your competition has, how you can use it to your advantage, and also keep in mind that sometimes you just never know, so don't go too crazy too early on, all right? Do the test buys. I'm Jonathan, this is Duke Does Amazon. Thanks for being here. We're on Instagram as well at Duke Does Amazon. I will see you guys soon.